Hello there, Chelsea football fans. This is Up Chelsea TV, and I'm Uga Madi. So let's dive into this stream. This is Chelsea State of Play. So basically, we're talking about the same thing. I'm sounding like a broken record at this point in time. So Alejandro Garnacho text Chelsea have open talks to with Manchester United to sign Alejandro Garnacho. Now they're looking at Manchester United looking at getting an excess of £40 million. Chelsea are hoping that by the time Manchester United have completed the signing of Benjamin Sesko, hopefully that price will drop. For me, get the best deal as possible because I don't see why you want to pay in excess of £40 million for Garnacho because, like I said, he's not really a needle mover. Maybe someone you want to add for squad depth, and let's see how that would work out, in my opinion. And then, as well, from a Manchester point of view, I don't see why they want to keep hold of him because obviously he doesn't fit in the plans of Ruben Amorim. Not just because I don't rate him that highly, but the way Ruben Amorim wants to play, I don't think I don't think he even fits in because Ruben Amorim likes to play with two tens behind a lone striker, and Garnacho is the winger, so I don't see how that fits in. So at this point in time, I'm just accepting it, not really jumping for joy and punching the air with my fist, but I just have to accept it. That's where it is right now. That's where we are right now, with respect to this deal. So it's coming. You best you just best accept this deal. So it's you just best accept it, in my opinion. So there's nothing else you can do about it. So this is what Ben Jacobs tweeted out 2 hours ago before the stream started. So he said Chelsea open talks for Alejandro Garnacho with Manchester United winger. Open talks for Alejandro Garnacho with the Manchester United winger keen on the move. Manchester United seeking in excess of £40 million, but Chelsea feel the price will drop should Benjamin Sesko's move be completed. So fair play. He's keen on fair play to him. He's keen on joining Chelsea. It's always good when a player, makes it clear, makes it obvious that he wants to join the club. So that's fair on his behalf. But I don't quite rate it. But at this point in time, you have to accept that's what the club wants to do. And I think the implication of that would then be that Tariq George would have to leave. That's just it. I don't think we can have our cake as Chelsea fans and eat it at this point in time. Tariq George would have to leave either on loan, hopefully, or even permanently. So, I'd like to know those opinions on the Garnacho moving ahead. Let's know what you think. And as well, sadly, Colwill picked up an injury in training, and the scan has been had, but the results are not yet out. So, feeling like we possibly could be needing another centre back. Another centre back. For me, I feel if Aaron Anselmino is already in the team, he's already part of the squad, rather than loaning him out, and you just know that Chelsea will not go out there and sign a 25-year-old, 26-year-old, 28-year-old centre back, experienced centre back. Is still going to be another young centre back. So why not just give Anselmino that chance then? If unfortunately Levi Colwill is out for long, which is a bit unfortunate for me because I think while he's still a bit rough around the edges, he's grown, especially in the Club World Cup, and he's become one of the best centre backs that Chelsea, has on his books. So for me, like I always say, that's Colwill and Toussaint Darabayo are Chelsea's best pairing going into the Premier League, start of the league season. So if he's out for any length of time, rather than going on signing another 19-year-old, signing another 20-year-old, is best you go on, give Anselmino that opportunity, give Colwill a chance to recover from the injury. Hopefully, he's not out for too long. Because I just think going into the season, definitely you're not going to the season with Tosin and Chalobah as your two sort of starting lineups, as your two sort of only centre backs you have available. So that's my sort of opinions on that one. Let me know what you think. about Colwill being out, unfortunately, and the whole Garnacho thing as well. What do you think about that? And Chelsea will be having a preseason game tomorrow in the evening against Bayer Leverkusen. So looking forward to that one. Want to know your opinions on that particular game and who you would like to see start. For me, I would like to see Estevão start. I want to see what it's all about. We all know what Caicedo can provide, so there's no questions about that. I want to see more of Andre Santos because we know Enzo Fernandez will start anyway come that first game day with Premier League. So go in with Andre Santos, in my opinion. Let's see what we know a bit more of what Andre Santos can do, to be fair, than your Estevão, but let's see what they're both all about. And I would have loved to see Xavi Simons, but that deal is still not done. So if that deal was done, that would have been a game. At least you start the game with Xavi Simons, see what it's all about in the Chelsea shirt. So, but that is not going to happen. And then who else? So Hato, let's see Hato. In fact, I want to see all the new players because for one, we've seen these players go to the Club World Cup. I'm talking about your Cucurelas, your Palmers, your Caicedos. They've gone to the Club World Cup. So you want to see if you can give them as much rest as possible. You know, they can start on the bench 20, 30 minutes to the end of the game. Then you can bring them all in because we know what they're all about anyway. So I'd like to see Hato start in that left back spot. And if Maresca chooses to invert his fullbacks, invert the left back at least, then you know you can test Hato as well. Because if Hato is indeed going to be, you know, like a backup or competition for Cucurella, he must be able to invert. Except Maresca chooses to completely do a complete 180, you know, going into the start of the season, and decides that he doesn't want to invert his fullback anymore. For me, I'll be slightly happy if he doesn't, but that's his style, and he's won 2 trophies with it. So I don't see why he wants to change it. So let's see. I'd like to see how to start and see what he's all about in that role as well. And then for that game, I wouldn't mind seeing Liam Delap start in that game. I know some people may want to see Jackson, but I just have a feeling that Jackson may not be at the club come the end of the season. Because right now, prior to Newcastle United going in for even Sesko, whilst they were hoping on getting Ekitike, Nicholas Jackson was on that list. You know, he was on their list of strikers because just like every other club, Chelsea, whichever club out there, when they want to sign players, they didn't just have one target. You have your number one target, who is the number one guy you want to get, number 2, number 3. So Jackson has always been on Newcastle, the list of Newcastle United targets, striker targets. So they failed on the Ekitike front, and now they've failed on the Sesko front. Now they're looking towards getting Jackson, possibly. But then again, and from Jackson's point of view, I get why he may want to go. I wouldn't blame Jackson if he decides to go because right now, we as fans would like to say, stick around, stick it out, fight, show that you want to earn your place. But can you fight off really 2 strikers that have just been signed in this season? If it's one, you know, if it was Liam Delap or João Pedro, I say, come on now, stick it out, show me what you can do because you would have opportunities to play. Chelsea had the Champions League, so you have that game time to play to show what you're about. But you've got Liam Delap, you've got João Pedro, and then again, if he decides to project a bit into the future, there's all this talk about Emmanuel Omega, you know, about Chelsea in negotiations with the player and this camp and Strasbourg as well. We know that won't be a problem to see if they can come to some sort of pre-contract agreement that will see the player join the club, join Chelsea come 2026, 2027 season. So when you put all these things together, then you think to yourself as a player, do I really, 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 really want to be at this club where I'll be 4th choice or something? Do I really want to stick around and fight it out when I can go to a club like Newcastle United and be the number 1 option? Who knows what he decides? But I just have a feeling that Nico Jackson won't be at the club come the end of the season. Now, let's talk about Alejandro Garnacho for a minute. Talk about Chelsea being interested in him, talk about Chelsea wanting to sign the player. Now there's open talks with Manchester United. Manchester United are looking for I anticipating or expecting a £40 million offer. That's the valuation they have on the player, at least in the excess. So that means enough of £40 million, so 45 upwards, or 40 plus £1 million upwards. So what would be the right amount for you as a Chelsea fan? For me, £30 million would be right about there. I wouldn't want to go above that. So that's it. But the club may decide to go £35 million. And I think, like I said before, that sends a message to the right authority judge that, come on, you're not in the plan for the club. You possibly would have to leave. And then where does it even fit in? For me, where does Garnacho fit in? The left wing, the competition for Gittins, does it improve Chelsea? Let me know, because it's almost like I'm a bit too harsh on the Garnacho thing. Where I would say fair play to Garnacho is the fact that he is keen on Chelsea. There've been offers from Napoli, where he would have gone to Syria and possibly balled out there with Conte, because Conte is the pace merchant whisperer. If you've got pace and you play under Conte, you tend to do well. So he could have easily gone there, but he stood pat and decided that he wants to be in the Premier League, decides that he wants to join Chelsea. Fair play to him. But where does it even fit? Is it really even needed? And then speaking about Colwill as well, what would you want the club to do? He's picked up an injury, unfortunately. But so what would you want the club to do? Go out there and sign a new striker, a new centre back, or keep Anselmino? For me, I've said it only makes sense right now to keep Anselmino, because the club is not going to go out there and sign some super experienced centre back to take a spot. It's still going to be another developmental player. So there's no point, in my opinion, going out there to sign this player. Now, speaking of new players coming in, how about a new player already in the building? That's Estevão, and his number has been revealed, and it is 41. So that's fair enough. I think it's good coming to a club. You don't really go out there to take a number that's pressured. You take a number that you used to take your old number from your old club. So that's fair play. And for me, I want to see him play this game against Bayer Leverkusen. I want to see him start in the Bayer Leverkusen AC Milan games. I would like to see him start, see what it's all about, because we've not really seen him in the Chelsea shirt. We've not really seen him play, in an Enzo Maresca tactics. And so the question is, would Enzo Maresca decide to tweak his tactics a bit to suit Estevão? In his pre-match conference, or the pre-season conference, he said Estevão is someone you have to ease in, you have to protect, and he's coming from a different part of the world, a different culture, so you have to ease him in, and that's fair play. You don't want to rush him in too soon and then get him injured or too worked up, or put so much pressure on him. So I agree in that regard, but I still feel for these preseason games, he should get starts. He should start both preseason games, and then come league time, you can start him on from the bench. Pedro Neto can start, and then you bring him to start from the bench. Although Enzo Maresca says he can play anywhere, and I'm sure he was referring to playing anywhere in the attack. So no worries there, because I was a bit skeptical when I heard that at first, because Enzo Maresca can come up and tell you from day one, I've seen him as a midfielder, and that would just be absolutely crazy days. So Estevão, no pressure on him. He's still very, very young, but nice to know he's got his number, and then he can progress from there. Hopefully, he gets game time. So more on this Garnacho bit. What are thoughts and opinions? What would be a good figure for you? What would be a good figure? What do you think is a good figure, a good value? For me, like I said, £30 million, that's fine. Anything more than that is just craziness, in my humble opinion. And let's even ask, are you happy with the business Chelsea has done so far this season? Yeah, you're happy with the business? For me, I'm okay. I would have wanted more experienced strikers, but we have what we have. The strikers have been sorted out, so that's fine. So that's Estevao with his new number, number 41. I think that's yeah. So new number 41. Let's go. So all that's done, and I want to see him start that game. I want to see him start in those preseason games. So, what would you expect to happen in that game? Would you expect to see Estevao Williams starting the game, or coming off from the bench? I feel that's the time you get to see what it's all about. Because Premier League games, I don't want to see him rushed in. I want to see how he meshes with everyone else. But the post from the camp is that, as in from Cobham, is that he's been friendly, laughing, having a good time with his teammates, and I want to see that joy because, like I said in previous videos, Brazilians, South Americans, Africans play football with joy. When you take away the joy from them, then they can't play. When you make them play like robots, then it becomes a whole lot difficult for you to get the best of them. And when you miss out on them from day one, that's it. So I want to see, and Estevao Williams, I know he's eager to come on the pitch and show what it's all about, and I'd like to see him start. So that's it for Estevao Williams. And then Garnacho, that's almost like a dead horse that I've been flogging, but I have to accept it. So have you accepted Garnacho would be a Chelsea player? For me, I've taken it well. A Chelsea player possibly would have some role to play, coming off the bench, or whoever wins. Who knows? He can he can join Chelsea and end up being this fantastic player. So fair play to him, So may the best man win between him and Gittins. But I would have preferred Jackson being, have that role as a left winger. But who knows that maybe Jackson sees himself as a striker now. We know we bought him from Villarreal as more like a second striker, support striker type player. But at Chelsea, he's been playing as an out-and-out striker. So he may come in. Maybe now he's seen himself as a number 9, and that's the only spot he can play. So for me, if that's the only spot he sees himself as, and more importantly, if that's what Enzo Maresca sees him as a 9 and not a winger and nothing else, then I think he has to leave because I don't think he's shown enough. And the competition right now is too much for me, in my opinion, for Jackson to pull himself through. And there's something that we've seen about Jackson when he's been taken off. You see him in socks a lot, head down. So how does he really pull out? How does he really pull himself out from this spot where you're having 2 strikers where you have to compete with? So how does that work? So that's it. So what lineup would you like to see going into that game? So I will come up with my own lineup right now, and then I will put it on here, for everybody, for us to see now. So I'll be going with, of course, goalkeeper. The goalkeeper, of course, would be none other than Robert Sanchez. No, Robert Sanchez. There's no if, ands, but, or maybes. Philip Jorgensen, that's what we're left with. No Mike Mignon, nothing. So that's what we're stuck with. So for me, that's it. I would go with Robert Sanchez. Robert Sanchez, goalkeeper. Robert Sanchez will be goalkeeper. And then left back, I would go with Cucurella, of course. No, there's no other choice. Cucurella. And then centre back pairing, since we have Colwill out, which is just sad for me. Just really, really sad. I would then go with Anselmino. With Anselmino. I'll go with Anselmino. So just share my screen in a minute so you see what I'm doing. And then Tosin. I know a lot of people have fallen in love with Chaloba, but I just think Tosin is an overall better defender, than Chaloba. And then right back, Rich James starts for me. That goes to have rest. Midfield, of course, Cole Palmer in the 10 role. Cole Palmer playing the 10 role. And then I'll go to Caicedo. I'll go Enzo. No, Esugo. That's what I'll go with. Esugo. What happens if you change it? I'll go with Esugo. Then, of course, let's see what the lap can do. I'll go the lap. And I'll go Gittins. And Estevao on the other end. So just see. It's not here. Yeah, I'll put Pedro Neto, but what I really want to go with is Estevao William. But this is the formation that I would want to go with. This is the formation that I want to go with. We're all 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. The only people that shouldn't be here possibly would be Andre Santos, Esugo to start for me. Cole Palmer in the 10 role because Xavi, the deal, we don't even know how far that has gone. So discussions are going on. Chelsea are hoping, to get the deal done for £50 million, but no announcement, no progress so fast. So we don't expect things to be done and completed enough for him to start. Maybe he could be presented come the 8th, but starting, no. And then Gittins, as well, even being in the team, no, for Xavi Simons. And then Bino Gittins, I want to see what he can do as well in that game. And then rather than Pedro Neto, for some reason, couldn't find Estevão's name, on there. So, but I want Estevão William to start. And then Liam Delap, let's see what he can do, in my opinion, as well. So, this is what I will be going with, going into the preseason game, for the first of the preseason games. So let's see what each of them can do. So you're watching Up Chelsea TV. I'm Ugo Amadi. So let me know what you think about the latest Chelsea news. Unfortunately, you've got the unfortunate news about Colwill being out. What do you want the club to do? You thinking signing a new CB? For me, I'm not so taken with signing a new centre back, in my opinion. Because if I would want to go out and sign a new centre back, it will be someone who has experience and can come in and immediately improve the team. If it's another developmental player, then I'd rather stick with Anselmino. Stick with Chalobah, stick with Tosin, instead of going out there and signing another 18-year-old, in my opinion. Except you want to sign Antonio Silva. He's a young player, but he has levels. He has levels. So hopefully Colwill isn't out for too long. And that's what I think about that. And then Garnacho, you have to accept it. Have you accepted that Garnacho come the start of the season proper, will be a Chelsea player. Oh, you're still like me. For me, I've decided to accept it. I've been pushing back against it, but what can you do? That's what the board wants to do. So I have to accept it, and hopefully he can come to Chelsea and come good. For some reason, Wayne Stanley, Lawrence Stewart are in love with the player. They think they see something a lot of fans don't see. So let's see if indeed he comes in and shows something different. In my opinion, just hopefully he comes good. And Liam Delap wants to see what it's all about as well. So I want to ask this question because I've been seeing people going on about, oh, we want to have 3 strikers. How can you go into the season with just 2 strikers? And I don't see how you can't go into the season with 2 strikers. But let's say Nicholas Jackson is sold to Newcastle United. Who would you want to be? Would you want a striker signed in his place? Would you want a new striker signed in his place, another striker? Or you would rather go into the rest of the season with 2 strikers? For me, I think 2 strikers is fair enough. It's okay enough. Anything more than that is overkill, in my opinion. Anything more than 2 strikers, if you're going for 3, is overkill, because when will the 3rd striker get to play? Except you want to give an academy player that slot. Except you want to give an academy player that slot. Otherwise, there's no point. There's no point signing the 3rd striker. That's it. Except maybe Shemin Welker gets to play. That's it. So, Chelsea fans, let me know what you think about these news so far. Give my own thoughts and opinions. Tell me who you expect to start, or who would you want to start in these games, these preseason games? Who would you want to start? And then, of course, we know Enzo Maresca was asked in the press conference about Nicholas Jackson, and he said, when the transfer window is open, anything can happen. He's happy with Jackson, but anything can happen when the window is open. Fair play. That's fair play to him. But for me, I just think that rather than getting Garnacho, you best just keep Jackson, in my opinion. So that's just how I see it. So I want to know your thoughts and opinions on Chelsea news, on things that are happening, on Colwill. If it turns out that he's injured and will be out for a long time, would you like to see a new centre-back signed? New centre-back signed. So the game will be by 7 p.m. at Stamford Bridge, and against Bayer Leverkusen. So it'll be nice to come up against. And of course, who are the players that you need to watch out for? That Chelsea needs to watch out for against Bayer Leverkusen. I think it's pretty obvious. You've got your Victor Boniface. You have to watch out for. But it just depends on how everything Hag wants to use him. He's one of the threats that you have there. Xhaka has left, so that he wouldn't be a problem if left to join Sunderland. And then as well, Nathan Tella is a nice, tidy player as well. I need to be watchful for, that Chelsea need to look out for as well. And then of course, thankfully, Florian Wirtz has left Bayer Leverkusen and Liverpool. So overall, that would be a nice, interesting game because Bundesliga sides like to play high-octane, fast football. So that'll be a nice way to ease back into Premier League football, I think. So some opinions on the game, score prediction, and would you even want to see a watch-along on this channel for the game? So that's it. Mainly not so much to talk about. So just basically Colwill out injured. Hopefully it's not for too long. Garnacho in talks with Chelsea, in talks with Manchester United for Garnacho. Manchester United are looking for north of £40 million, while Chelsea expect the price to drop once the deal for Sesko is done. So you want Garnacho, you don't want him, you're accepting it right now. I'm accepting it. What else can we do? And then as well, I've talked about Anselmino probably being the best bet to replace him. Although, I can tell with Chelsea, the board could decide to go out there and sign another young centre-back to take his spot. So those are the main points of discussion, main topics I've talked about today. Let me know those opinions in the chat. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe, and I'll see you on yet another video. Stay well and stay blessed. Bye-bye.